Hello, Eagles fans. We need to talk about a very serious matter happening behind the scenes at the Eagles. Many fans believe it would be best to fire Nick Sirianni and hire a new coach for the Eagles. I want to know from you, do you agree with firing Sirianni? Or do you think he should stay for next season? Write your opinion here. And of course, if you've been an Eagles fan for more than 20 years, hit the like button hard. Well, what's going on in Philly is this. Nick Sirianni was almost fired by Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie. That's right, the head coach who brought Philadelphia back to the Super Bowl just one season ago, who led the team to one of the best starts in franchise history, was reportedly on the verge of being let go. According to Eagles insider Jeff McLean, Lurie considered firing Sirianni early in the 2024 season after the team opened with a 2-2 record, and signs of regression became undeniable. The report states that internal frustration had reached a boiling point inside the NovaCare complex, especially from the top, Lurie himself. The situation escalated to the point that, had Sirianni not acted quickly and made key changes, he likely would have been out before mid-season. That's a shocking revelation when you think about where the Eagles were just 1 year earlier. But maybe it shouldn't be. Despite the outward image of stability, the cracks were there. The offense had become stagnant, predictable, and inefficient. Sirianni's in-game decisions were under fire, and the locker room energy didn't match the high expectations of a team built to contend for another championship. For Lurie, who's never been afraid to make bold moves, patience was running thin. We now know that Sirianni responded by overhauling his coaching staff after the 2024 season, and survived what could have been the end of his tenure in Philly. Still, it paints a very different picture of how close this franchise was to detonating everything. It also raises real concerns about the current direction, especially with the Eagles deep in the process of finding a new offensive coordinator, a search that has already stretched to 8 candidates, some of whom bring more questions than answers. Among the most notable interviews was former Giants head coach Brian Daboll, officially interviewed by the Eagles for the offensive coordinator role. Daboll worked with Jalen Hurts during his Alabama days and is known for maximizing quarterback talent. Think back to his time developing Josh Allen in Buffalo. He's considered one of the top candidates because of his proven track record and familiarity with the modern passing game. But it's not just Daboll. Others include current Giants OC Mike Kafka, Colts OC Jim Bob Cooter, Falcons pass game coordinator Zach Robinson, Bucs OC Dave Canales, and even Mississippi OC Charlie Weiss Jr. There's also growing speculation about former Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel, though that remains in the rumor stage. But here's the kicker. With teams around the league continuing to fill head coach vacancies, Titans hiring Robert Saleh, Dolphins hiring Jeff Hafley, and other candidates being taken off the board, the pool of available, top-tier offensive minds is shrinking fast. The Eagles are in a race against time. Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni now have to nail this hire. The wrong decision could derail Jalen Hurts' prime and waste one of the most talented offensive rosters in football. And while this OC search drags on, another key figure from the staff is drawing outside interest. Defensive backs coach and pass game coordinator Christian Parker is reportedly being targeted by the Cowboys and Packers for defensive coordinator roles. Parker has been a rising star under Vic Fangio and is credited with helping young corners like Kaylee Ringo, Eli Ricks, and Sidney Brown play at a high level. If Parker leaves, it would be another major blow to a defensive staff that already underperformed and has faced widespread scrutiny. And the drama doesn't end there. A bombshell report from Bleeding Green Nation suggested that star wide receiver A.J. Brown requested a trade multiple times throughout the 2024 season. That's a serious claim. However, everything we've seen from A.J. himself directly contradicts it. While it's true he showed visible frustration at times, especially with the offensive play calling and his role in the passing game, Brown has consistently said he wants to stay in Philly. Multiple times, when asked directly by reporters, his answer has been a firm and clear, yes, he wants to be here. Yes, he's committed to the team. And yes, he believes in Jalen Hurts. That doesn't sound like a guy trying to force his way out behind the scenes. Even in the midst of the Eagles' late-season collapse, Brown continued to show up, produce, and speak publicly about wanting to fix things, not flee from them. His cryptic tweets and sideline body language may have added fuel to the rumor fire, but in today's NFL, that kind of behavior is far from unique. Unless AJ himself comes out and confirms that he demanded a trade, this report seems like more noise than substance. But still, where there's smoke, there's often fire. And after a season like 2024, every piece of internal drama feels more believable than it should. Speaking of off-season moves, another developing situation centers around backup quarterback Tanner McKee. NFL analyst Benjamin Solak predicts the Eagles will look to trade McKee this offseason, potentially to an AFC team like the Dolphins, in exchange for mid-round draft compensation. On the surface, that might seem risky. McKee flashed serious potential in limited reps and proved he can step in when needed. But here's the reality. His rookie deal is expiring soon, and the Eagles simply can't afford to pay backup quarterback money in today's inflated market. If they let him walk in free agency, they get nothing. Trading him now could be the smart move to gain valuable draft capital and stay ahead of the curve. With Miami undergoing coaching changes and Tua Tagovailoa's long-term status still uncertain, a move like this could make sense for both sides. But it doesn't have to be the Dolphins. The point is, the Eagles need assets, and McKee could bring some real value if dealt to the right team looking for a young, developmental quarterback. So what does all this mean moving forward? The Eagles are at a crossroads. Nick Sirianni is still the head coach, but we now know just how close he came to losing that title. The offensive coordinator search is becoming more urgent by the day, with pressure mounting to find a leader who can rejuvenate a once lethal offense. The defense may soon be without one of its brightest minds in Christian Parker, and trade rumors surrounding stars like AJ Brown and Tanner McKee are adding to the noise around a team that, not long ago, looked like a dynasty in the making. With all these moving pieces, what do you think, Eagles fans? Should we be concerned about the internal drama, or is this just part of the process of getting back to the Super Bowl? Let me know what you think in the comments, because, if we're being honest, this team doesn't have much margin for error anymore. The window is now. Jalen Hurts is on his massive contract. The core, guys like A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Lane Johnson, and Hassan Reddick, is built to win now, not 3 years from now. That means the decisions being made this offseason, from the OC hire to how Howie Roseman manages the roster and the cap, are critical. There's no room for half measures or hopeful experiments, and that's why the reported near firing of Sirianni is so important. It shows that ownership isn't willing to settle for good enough. Lurie made it clear behind the scenes that if this team isn't competing for championships, changes will be made.